Welcome everyone to this special episode of the Caravan Tour of Terror, a show that usually finds us touring the globe through the medium of horrific, chilling and disturbing entertainment. My name's Donald, and I'm usually the driver, but this time it's different. This time we're recording another special episode. I don't know
how to fucking work this thing.
I don't know why I'm burying the lead, because you can already see what it is based on the description in your chosen podcast device. It's a Resident Evil movie marathon. Yay.
We're going to crash.
Joining me as always, you might have heard, is my navigator Ali. Say hello, Ali.
I don't want to die.
Yes, we have watched in one sitting all the main franchise Resident Evil films, not the animation, because there's how many of those? There's a few of those, isn't there?
Yeah.
Okay, you can... Great bit. Finished now.
Okay,
Move
I'll
on.
pull over. Here in Raccoon City.
Yes, there you go. Oh, we should have been Raccoon City. Too late. So six movies, the six Mila Jovovich movies, and the new movie, Welcome to Raccoon City.
Movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how did you feel going into this? Because you'd seen them all before, you fucking madman.
Yeah, I know. Aye, all right.
I'm surprised you said yes. Because I'd seen the first one 6 times because it was just one of these movies. No, it 14. Was someone in my school had a pirate copy that was decidedly good on a disc. Gave it around to everyone. I think that's probably one of those movies that happened to. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the Resident Evil film. It's going to be so good.
Yeah, sure.
I thought it was all right. It was all right. I remember watching it a few times. And then I never, ever watched another one.
Going in, I felt, aye, all right. It was like my memory of them was hazy at best.
How's your memory of them now?
Hazy at best.
Luckily, we took the time to record reactions, just little snippet reactions after each one. So we'll be able to talk about them now, the bit with, a little bit of time's passed. We've forgotten all about them. But also, we'll get the live reactions as they happened. You'll be able to hear the credit music in the background and maybe some other people that aren't appearing on this podcast. Just ignore them.
Resident Evil.
So we're starting with Resident Evil, obviously.
Yes. 2002's Resident Evil.
2002's Resident Evil, Paul W.S. Anderson.
Paul Thomas W.S. Anderson.
Sir Paul W.S. Anderson.
Thomas W.S. Anderson.
Synopsis for Resident Evil. Based on the popular video game, Mila Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez star as the leaders of a commando team who must break into the Hive, a vast underground genetics laboratory operated by the powerful Umbrella Corporation. There, a deadly virus has been unleashed, killing the lab's personnel and resurrecting them as the evil dead. I don't know why it spells undead like that. The team has just 3 hours to shut down the lab's supercomputer and close the facility before the virus threatens to overrun the Earth. Resident Evil. Yeah. Cheap old bottle movie. Most. I mean, that's what I felt about it. I was like, they had 3 sets they reused constantly, and they spent all the money on the laser room scene.
The warehouse full of boxes and pipes was pretty good. See, when you
clock on the fact that they kind of go between 3 rooms the entire movie.
Yeah.
Section of hallway, box room, another little room that's basically a little mansion set at the start. It's so unbelievably cheap. But I mean, it wasn't that cheap, but I mean, Christ. They really managed to make every dollar feel like it wasn't being used properly. It was great.
Yeah. Except for that hallway scene.
It was fine. It's fine. I remember thinking it was really cool when I was a child, but it's fine. There's a bit of guts. It's probably it's one of the goriest scenes in the whole franchise, probably, thinking about it. Because it kind of steers away from that stuff most of the time.
When I was watching it this time, my main thought was, this is such a early 2000s movie.
Yeah, it really is.
It's so, everything's like washed blue.
I feel like when I think back to early 2000s, it just all feels really juvenile and teenage boy. Like all entertainment was geared towards teenage boys for some reason. And this movie's really geared towards that so much. The driving metal soundtrack, Mila Jovovich prancing about.
Please, the driving new metal soundtrack.
Yeah, it's new metal. Sorry, of course, new metal, yeah. The hip current music of the age. Right, here's what we thought about it at the time. What? I mean, I've not listened to these since, so I hope they're fit for broadcast. Alistair.
Whoa.
Jason Isaacs had started Harry Potter by this time.
First one down, how you feeling?
I still think it's not the worst movie in the world. It's like definitely aged badly. It's definitely aged badly, and the CG does not hold up. But looking at the number of video game movies that have come out before and after, it still probably stands up as one of the best video game movies, which is not a high bar.
Looking forward to the next 9 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill me. Were you really looking forward to the next 9 hours?
Yeah. You keep thinking I was going into this as some sort of like torturous experiment.
No, but now that I've watched them all, which is kind of spoiling how I feel about the whole affair, I have no idea why you did this, because you'd seen them before. Your memory must have just really let you down. But your thoughts there were very salient, I thought. Yep. It's not bad. It's a fun bad movie watch, I think. It still stands up as that kind of thing.
Yeah. And again, like, it's from 2002. It was 20 years ago for one thing. Like, so yeah, it is so like quippy and everyone's like moody and pouting and
and
but
there's
overall,
no characters at all.
Basically. But no,
Mila Jovovich doesn't get named until the credits, right? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that is true.
Your main character.
There's real dogs.
Oh, well, there's one real dog that's digitally repeated a few times.
Used.
And there's the famous Matrix kick.
Yeah.
Which is that actually established in the first movie properly that she's a genetic, like, I can't remember. When I was watching this as a kid, I didn't realize that she was, I don't think I realized she was supposed to be like, you know, genetically modified super soldier, kind of super serum Captain America stuff. They just retroactively explain that.
I mean, well, again, we'll get into what they retroactively do and do not do with our powers.
The cast of Resident Evil. Your thoughts?
Mila Jovovich, I think, is better in this than she is in Fifth Element. But
I hate Fifth Element, so...
Yeah. Michelle Rodriguez plays Michelle Rodriguez.
It's ridiculous. She really...
And we watched all the Fast movies.
This was early on as well, wasn't it?
2002, yeah.
But from the get-go, that's her. It was after...
Just after Fast and the Furious. I think 2001 was Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. I wonder how apart they were filming-wise. But yeah, that template is completely down, and that's it for her, basically, for the rest of her career. Tough.
James Purefoy?
Yeah. Can't say it's his best performance. He's kind of, you know, he's evil.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
Colin Salmon.
Oh, love Colin Salmon. Love him in this. Love him in that episode of Extras he's in. Not seen him in anything else really ever. Great. Apart from other Resident Evil movies, which we'll get to later.
Oh, man. And
that guy from Ugly Betty.
I've never watched Ugly Betty. So.
It's the guy. Yeah, the guy. Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry.
And at the end of the first one, we have our cameo by Jason Isaacs, which you heard me talking about very briefly.
Yes.
As the doctor, who I believe turns into Jorah Mormont.
Yes. Right?
I think they're the same person. So we move on to Resident Evil Apocalypse.
Resident Evil Apocalypse. A deadly virus from a secret Umbrella Corporation laboratory underneath Raccoon City is exposed to the world. Umbrella seals off the city to contain the virus, creating a ghost town where everyone trapped inside turns into a mutant zombie. Alice, brackets Mila Jovovich, a survivor from Umbrella's secret lab, meets former Umbrella security officer Jill Valentine, brackets Sienna Guillory, and mercenary Carlos Oliveira, brackets Oded Fair. Together they search for a scientist, Jared Harris, who might be able to help. That's Resident Evil Apocalypse. I think they said Raccoon City Apocalypse.
2004's Resident Evil Apocalypse.
2004's Resident Evil Apocalypse. So I'd heard, I mean, this movie had such, I mean, the first movie had pretty poor reaction, but this movie had such a negative, acerbic reaction in the press and everything like that, that it honestly put me off watching it. And I was like, I can't really be bothered. And that's why I've never watched any of these films. I remember watching it on TV briefly. I flicked the channel it was on, and I saw the scene where a motorbike crashes very unconvincingly through the church stained glass window, and I decided I'd made a pretty good choice in my life, and then I switched channels again. And that is the only exposure I'd had to this film. But this was one of the better movies of the day. So
it was the worst rated movie of the day.
Yep. But
I mean, it definitely did not sit there for me. We get Jill Valentine,
who is Jill Valentine in name only because she basically, I mean, God, the Resident Evil characters in the games aren't really characters very much anyway. Do you know what I mean? They don't, like, describe the difference between Leon Kennedy and Chris Redfield, really.
One's a rookie cop.
So Jill's kind of awkwardly introduced into this movie, even though we've got Alice, who was it was our female heroine anyway, and still is.
Yep.
Oded Fair as a soldier guy. Carlos might be in Resident Evil 4 actually.
Yes, I believe Carlos is in games.
Yeah, it might be in 4. I'm not sure. I mean, but again, totally blank slate character. You could have said he was anyone, really. Yeah. Wouldn't have mattered. And the Nemesis is in it from the last movie. End of the last movie, set up this movie. And to their credit, they actually followed through on the setup of the last movie, which they also struggled to do in later films.
Yes.
So I have to give it a point for that. And also the Nemesis suit is decidedly rubbery and unconvincing, but quite funny.
It's
quite funny to watch it go brrr.
See if it didn't move at all, I would be like, that's a really good suit, and then the moment it moves, it loses all credibility. But one thing this movie does is it opens that, like, whatever tiny little pitiful universe they created in Resident Evil, they've now opened up into a city rather than, like, you know, an underground
3 rooms. Yes.
Hey, another thing they'll struggle with in later movies. But yeah, I thought, like, honestly, some of the action's pretty good. It looks fine. Again,
I think pretty good is generous. Pretty good might be generous, but
this is all within the framework of how we will. I'm sure we'll say this.
What I'll say is our energy levels. I'm interested to see what we thought after that one, but when I look back at the whole day, this was definitely still fine for me.
Yeah.
I remember being, this is fine. 2 movies down, still fun. We're still having a laugh with it. That's soon to change. Yeah. Let's see what we thought about it. We've just finished Resident Evil Apocalypse.
That is a sharp decline in quality. It's weird to me to possibly have the thought of, was this not as well directed because Paul W.S. Anderson didn't do it? But yeah, it's like, it's got a couple of okay action scenes, but it's a hot mess of a movie.
We may have just experienced the worst one. And it feels like that.
It does. It feels like a fucking
how naive we really
of a mess. Like, moment to moment, it doesn't seem to know
the energy's been sapped.
So currently it's 3:15 and I'm feeling all right, but we've got 5 movies left.
I'm going to have a beer over the next one, I think.
Yep, 5 movies left.
Wish us luck. Ignore the car horn. That's interesting because that is not how I feel about the whole day on a whole, which means that the next films definitely coloured my retrospective opinion.
Certainly. I didn't expect that. Could not remember for the life of me what I'd said, and I did not expect that.
I can't believe we thought that one was the hot mess. It's not even close. I think that in the final rankings, I can't remember if I rank them in one of these clips. If not, I'll rank them at the end because I've got it written down somewhere what I ranked them as, and I'm sure the second one was in the top half of them all. So, yeah. Oh dear. What I'd say now is watch the first two as bad watches and skip the next one, which is there anything else you wish to add?
Oded Fair, I feel, deserved more with his career.
With his career? I think you were going to say with his role in this film.
No, with his career.
Yeah, but do you not just think that because he was in The Mummy and, he was cool in The Mummy?
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure what else he's in. But what else have you seen him in? Is it just The Mummy?
The Mummy.
Yeah, The Mummy's a good movie. The one Mummy movie is a good movie.
I like 2, but I was an idiot.
2 probably came out at the same time as Resident Evil, or they are like quite close together.
Yes, yeah, they will be. And Jared Harris in this, man.
Oh my God, talk about having a talent and totally not putting him to any use at all.
No. But we do get our first appearance of Ian Glenn. Fucking hell, man. Game of Thrones actors must have really liked Resident Evil series.
They were available because they all filmed in Europe.
Resident Evil 3.
So, then we moved on.
3 years later.
Is it 3 years later? Then
3
years later, we get Resident Evil Extinction. Captured by the Umbrella Corp, Alice receives genetic alterations that leave her with superhuman abilities. Hold on. So she didn't have superhuman abilities when she Matrix kicked the Hound in the first film. Hold on. There's definitely other things she did in Resident Evil Apocalypse that seemed superhuman to me. Sorry, I'll carry on. Hiding out in the Nevada desert, she joins forces with former cohorts Carlos, Oded Fair, and LJ, Mike Epps, as well as new survivors Claire, Ali Larter, Kmart, Spencer Locke, and Nurse Betty, Ashanti, to eradicate the virus that threatens to turn every human on Earth into a zombie. This was the film where they jammed in some more characters and gave them nothing to do.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing happens in this entire film, as I'm sure. So they go for like a Wild West feeling with this one.
Post-apocalypse.
Post-apocalyptic Wild West, yeah, exactly. Kind of Mad Maxy style.
Uh-huh.
To the point where they've got like a modified bus, and they're driving around.
Them
survivors.
And survivors are just driving
random survivors that can then be picked off by creatures.
It's all just desert land because the T virus did not just affect people; it affected all life on Earth.
Yes, it killed all life on Earth, sort of, kind of, almost.
Sort of, but not really. Birds attack.
Yeah, there's zombie birds, sort of. I think. A whole bunch of new characters that you recognize by how they look, but really you can describe any of them with even a sentence.
Couple have been in the movie before. Oded Fair and Mike Epps were in the one before. Yeah.
And then they jam in Claire and Kmart.
Who was like, it's my new life. I wanted to choose something.
Take
something into my own hands. Kmart.
A real symbol for freedom. The name Kmart.
I named myself after the place they found me in.
But I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Very little happens in this film. I think I remember describing it as like side quest the movie. They just dick around for ages, doing very little. There's a bit of plot that kicks in the last half hour, but this was difficult, especially in this format to get through. Holy shit, I found it tedious beyond belief. It wasn't funny anymore.
No, well, this one again, it's because literally nothing happens.
Yeah,
nothing. They just drive. They just drive around and are kind of sad for a while. Some of them get picked off.
Yeah,
And then eventually they're like, "Oh, we start a plot? All right. How long's left? About 20 minutes? I'll do. Shove it in."
Is this the one where it ends with she's being cloned? It must be, because in the next one there's clones.
It's the one that starts with her being cloned.
Oh, right. Okay. So at the end, does she free her clones? Or is that the beginning of the next movie? These movies start bleeding into each other. But I remember Afterlife.
That, yeah,
Cloney.
this is the end of this one is her and... I think the next one is really cloney.
Yeah,
This is the one that
yeah.
ends like, clones.
Yes, good.
Me and my clones.
Yes. She frees her clones and they all go on a rampage. Right.
Yeah.
Here's what we thought about this film as it happened.
Donald, how you feeling?
We just finished Extinction.
3.
Yeah.
There's no point in naming them.
Yeah.
It was definitely the best made Resident Evil movie so far. Weirdly, I probably still enjoyed it more than 2.
No, you didn't. Nah, not visibly.
Did I enjoy 2 visibly?
Yeah, we seem to have more fun. The energy levels have flagged.
Yeah, a wee bit. But no, it's fine. Like, it was not the worst movie I've ever seen, and it was competently made.
It had no story.
It had zero story.
For 50 minutes.
Arguably until the last 5.
Anyway, see you after the next one, which is called...
Afterlife. Resident Evil Afterlife.
Yeah.
3D.
Oh, great.
So yeah, I do remember that now. Of this was out of the first 2. Like, the directing style of the first 2 is like crazy hot garbage. It's like quick cuts everywhere, Dutch angles everywhere.
Yeah, MTV editing. New metal editing.
Whereas Resident Evil Extinction is the first one that actually felt like a film.
I will give you that. It definitely had the best production values. Mm-hmm. It might have had the best budget. It probably had the best effects. They were able to shove in, a couple more celebrities, or just have a bigger cast in general. But I hope you take back those words now.
Oh, yeah. Hot garbage.
You were doing better on the day.
I was.
You were just feeling more positive.
No, I think they've just soured over time. No, there is. I think there is a reason, which we will get to later.
Oh, interesting.
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil Afterlife. In a world overrun with the Walking Dead, Alice continues her battle against Umbrella Corp, rounding up survivors along the way. Joined by an old friend, Alice and her group set out for a rumoured safe haven in Los Angeles. Instead of sanctuary, they find the city overrun with zombies and a trap about to spring. Resident Evil Afterlife. That synopsis is not at all what I remember in my head about this film.
Is this a prison movie?
Is this a prison movie?
Is this a prison movie?
Oh,
yeah, this is the prison movie.
Yeah, it is, because the next one's the garbage. So, Resident Evil Afterlife is my favourite Resident Evil film.
Up until this point.
I'm just going to say it already. Of the 6, I like this one the best because it's a fucking shit show in the best way possible. Have you ever seen those trailers for like Bollywood action movies where they kind of just completely go like ballistic and just do whatever with special effects? And there's one where it's like the main hero, I think he's a hero, is like a cyborg, and he creates like 50 of himself and rolls around in a giant ball and like turns his like and like destroys a city.
Okay.
And the effects are obviously terrible, but they don't particularly care. They're just being creative with it. And that's what this movie felt like to me. The performances, dreadful, but the best way possible. The effects, god fucking awful. The style of it, ridiculous. It's so good though. There's 3 Alices at the start. They're all fucking jumping about, doing all mad shit. They're all ninjas with samurai swords now because it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I this one was great. I might watch this one again. I might watch
this
this one again.
Bad movie watch.
The only problem with it is, even if you've watched the first 3, it's still pretty incomprehensible. But in isolation, it must be fucking difficult. I mean, especially if you've never played the games either. I'm just trying to think of it from, if I said takeaway was just watch this one, and someone hadn't played any of the games before, my God, they'd be completely lost. But it's a very visual. It's a very visual movie.
At least it's got the thing. No, I think it would be fine.
You think it'd be fine?
I mean, I challenge you to find that person. What's Resident Evil? A zombie movie? I don't know. Sure, I'll watch.
Yes. This is the prison movie. It's kind of goes back to sort of Botley in a way, doesn't it? Really, it's mostly in one location.
It's a prison movie.
Yeah, so it's like that season of The Walking Dead for a long time. But the finale is brilliant on the aircraft carrier because for some reason they go with a style of having everything be completely antiseptic white, which is it's totally jarring when the whole movie, I mean, has been grimy as hell because the world basically ended.
Like future robot heaven white.
Yeah, it's so good. And you get Wesker from the games making, I mean, he's been in the movies previous, but he's in this movie. He is doing his full Agent Smith dodging bullets stuff that he does do in the games, but it doesn't work in a film. But it's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
So this one is the one where the first 20 minutes, 20 minutes, and the last 20 minutes are completely separate. Like the first 20 minutes are kind of... The first bit's great because it's the attack on Tokyo.
Yes.
Then it's like hard flying around trying to find stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
is this the one where she dies in the helicopter? I'm trying to remember. Oh, this one where Claire and that have gone to Alaska and she's trying to find them.
Yes.
Yes.
So...
Yeah, the ship, yeah.
The whole thing is she plans like a single person plane on this prison.
Yeah, oh
and
God,
then from that point on, it is just how are we going to get over to that boat? And it's that until they get over to the boat. And how they get there is not really that important.
Children of Men have the same plot, basically, when you write it on paper. And that's a masterpiece. So is this.
The good thing about it being a character movie is that it's the first time that any of these movies have had any characters. And as you said, they're all over the top and ridiculous and terrible. Like, it doesn't make them... They're not good. Like, they're no way... the Weasley guy just gets Weasleyer and Weasleyer, but in just like a way where you love to hate his guts. Not in a way that it's like well written or like fantastically. It's just like hits the right spot for what the tone of this movie is. And then your scary man in the prison cell is Wentworth Miller, so that's a nice weird nod.
Oh yeah, of course, him from Prison Break. Yes. Not who I pictured as my Chris Redfield, but I mean, I don't think they particularly care. I honestly think they were like, that Prison Break show was good.
Yeah.
Let's cast
We're
him
making
in
a movie
this
in a prison.
Yeah, we've got a prisoner. He's a good prisoner. Let's cast him in this.
Why not?
I feel like this movie would play well with people who are watching it in a language they don't speak. And I feel it might have been created sort of like that because it's
second time you've essentially compared it to a Bollywood movie.
No, because I mean, Bollywood movies are for their home audience, but I'm talking about if this movie was in Spanish and we were watching it, I don't think it would matter that much. For my enjoyment of this film, it really wouldn't.
I mean, to be fair, the biggest problem the last 20 minutes it has is that it tries to introduce a plot.
Yeah, fuck that.
Which arguably is what we were... Not even arguably, that's what we were shitting on the last movie for.
Yeah, because it didn't have a plot, but it also didn't have over-the-top action. You need to have one or the other. Yeah. Come on, you need to have one or the other. And Resident Evil Extinction was like, we're just kind of going to go by the numbers for a bit and not do anything. And this one was like, we're just turning this into a cartoon. The CGI is fucking terrible, but it works so well. That's what I think.
Remember the Axeman fight?
Oh yeah, they just go in the
showers.
Yeah, they just go hog wild with the enemies as well. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Cool, no, it's fine.
No, why is there a zombie
20 foot tall? Nah, he's not that big, but he's huge.
Like 9 feet at least.
9 or 10 feet.
10 feet.
Yeah,
wielding
Is there not more than one of them, or I might be?
That might be later. That might be later movies.
They are just an enemy in the game at that point.
Yeah. Get shot about 4 times in the head, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah, you've not done enough damage to me yet.
Yeah.
You need to upgrade your weapons. Which, it turns out...
No, you need to do the quick time event.
It turns out, what's the best weapon in movie history?
Coins.
A shotgun loaded with quarters, yes. Or nickels or dimes. I actually can't remember.
Pennies, might even
Pennies,
be.
yeah. Literally blows it apart completely.
Blows everything apart.
Yeah. The most powerful weapon in movie history is a shotgun with pennies. We'll just go with pennies.
Just shove down the barrel of the gun.
Yeah, just like a musket, like an old style musket. Shove the pennies down, pull the trigger, and I promise the shotgun won't explode in your hand, blowing your fingers 20 feet apart from each other. Oh. Fantastic. Yeah, genuinely liked it. Genuinely will probably watch it again. I've been tempted to watch it again recently, actually. But...
Have we done our thoughts, our recorded
we've not.
thoughts?
Let's see. What if I play this now and I shit on it completely?
You might.
Oh dear.
Fuck. It's probably the most plot any of them have had.
What is?
Fucking Resident Evil Afterlife. Resident Evil Afterlife we've just finished, and yeah, moods are flagging, probably.
I definitely think it's the one that has held up the least.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually...
Effects don't look great.
No, in terms of the visual effects have not aged well and probably didn't look that great to begin with. But in terms of the movie, it's probably the best put together.
I like it better when it goes balls to the wall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That movie was a lot of fun when it did its dumb stuff, as opposed to the last one where you were like, I've had 2 movies where it's just been weird cuts of garbage.
Yeah.
And now that it's actually just a movie that's ticking along, that's great.
Yeah.
But this one is actually a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a movie. It's weird.
And now the caffeine products are getting consumed.
Well, I've been drinking tea all night.
Beer!
No, not beer. I can't drink any more beer.
Yeah, we're moving on to the 5th of 6 Paul W.S. Anderson involved movies. You are. 5th of 6.
What time is it?
It's like 20 to 7. Yeah. She's falling
What do you
asleep.
mean? Are you going to die?
She's going to fall asleep. We're moving on to 2012's Resident Evil Retribution.
Retribution!
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So clearly, Afterlife, rather than souring in my mind, has matured into a lovely blue
Fine
cheese.
cheese, yeah.
Some
It's
of that,
definitely cheese.
those scenes are still in my mind and they still make me smile. So,
That's the important thing.
and it's funny that we focused on the fact that it had plot. I mean, it was only because Extinction had literally none. But plot is not this franchise's strong point.
No.
How does this one end? Is this the one that ends and sets up a Retribution, which then completely forgets the setup? What's the
Yeah,
one where it
I think
ends
so.
in the White House? Is it this one or the next one?
Yeah, the next one ends in the White House. This
Right,
one
yeah.
ends with the... So, this one and Retribution, the next one,
Yes.
2012's Retribution. So this was 2010
Yes.
to 2012. So these were quick in
Yes,
succession.
yes.
Where they free all the people from the pods on the boat,
Yes.
blow up
Yes.
Wesker
Yes.
in the pod because remember
they're on-
he's flying away smugly and then
Yeah.
he goes no, yeah, with the bomb.
Yeah. And then stuff's flying towards the ship, right?
Yep.
Oh, the
Credits.
umbrella, yeah, all Umbrella Corp guys are
Yeah.
like, yeah, the helicopters are flying and stuff. Credits, exactly. Yes.
Resident Evil 5.
That leads us nicely.
Into Retribution, which starts with a I bet you're wondering how I got here moment and then shows all the whoop and all the explosions happening.
Right, yes. So, Resident Evil Retribution, we may as well get to it. As Umbrella Corps' deadly T-virus, I've said Corporation, Corp, and Core. As Umbrella corpse deadly T-virus continues to turn the world's population into legions of flesh-eating zombies, Alice, the human race's last hope, awakes deep within Umbrella's secret operations facility. The further she delves into the complex, the more of her mysterious past is unveiled. Her global hunt for those responsible for the outbreak leads to a mind-blowing revelation. Aided by friends old and new, Alice fights to escape from a world on the edge of oblivion. And yes, it starts with a "you might be wondering how I got myself into this mess" situation. Carry on with your description. It was beautiful.
We get shown, first of all, an Alice living at home with a husband and a daughter, and zombies attack.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking, Donald. No way zombies attack in this movie.
It's exactly... When did the Dawn of the Dead remake came out? Because it's very much like Paul W.S. Anderson saw the beginning of that film, which, if you remember, is little girl gets zombified and then, you know, and shit goes wild, and then it's good, nice tracking shots of like cars exploding and people driving away and running away and getting attacked by zombies. Saw that and thought, we never actually did that. Let's find a way to do that and basically kind of write a movie around that. Even though it doesn't last that long, that's really what it felt like to me.
And homage, maybe?
A homage. Also a nice excuse to get back the celebrities that may not have had the best careers since Resident Evil. They actually turned into slightly big names, but we could probably get them back for this 5th installment for a reasonable price and a tax write-off. So let's introduce a bit more of this cloning to that kind of situation. Yeah, let's get them back in here.
This movie did have the biggest budget.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Why?
I don't know. I don't know. To get Michelle Rodriguez, Oded Fair, and Colin Salmon, who had all been summarily wiped from existence in these
We should
movies.
mention the start of this movie has... I'm just going to rewind the start of this movie. Rewind's a good thing to say. It goes backwards, doesn't it? That's the start of this film, isn't it? She starts in the water, and then the shot is reversed up to her getting attacked on the ship and blown off.
Yeah, up to the end of the last movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And it's quite visually...
I essentially say, yeah, that is a quite... I mean, it's just reverse shot, mate.
Oh, well, I think it looked quite expensive to me, but I don't know. That's differing opinions then. I thought it was all right.
Well, fuckity-doo, because it has no bearing on the story whatsoever.
No, not
She
at all.
wakes
It's
up,
just a 3D movie. Let's put bums on seats and give them something to see right at the start.
So real Alice wakes up in a facility.
Yes, she
Breaks
likes to
out.
do that.
What?
She likes to do that, wake up in a facility, and she likes
Yeah.
to break out of them.
And likes to break out of it. So, but she ends up in, what's this? Tokyo.
What?
And it plays back to a scene possibly from a movie prior, which is like how the outbreak started in Tokyo.
Yeah, I'm sure we saw that as the like cold open of another one, an earlier one, I think.
And basically it turns out that she's in this weird super
Don't
underground
fucking start. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, but not like Afterlife. This movie's fucking shit, right? This is terrible. So I'm just going to try and get this clear. So I'm going to spoil the whole... Well, I mean, obviously we're spoiling everything and who cares, but it turns out that she's in an artificial Truman Show-like reality underneath the Siberian ice or something, the Arctic ice, buried
something along those lines.
deep within, and it's high tech, like you wouldn't believe. There's people everywhere who might be... Does it ever explain if they're actors or not? They're corporeal.
Clones?
Just clones that have been programmed to act exactly the way that they acted in real life.
Yeah, except for not really, because they eventually, some of them, like Michelle Rodriguez, eventually.
Yes. So yeah, I'm not even meaning they're like they've got implanted memories, and their memories aren't the same. But
Are some of them holograms?
I'm just thinking about so it's like recreating the Tokyo. The Tokyo scene is like recreating what actually happened, but to do that, it is exactly what happened. Like it's the same beats, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But she's there. And they are real people because they're like running away and stuff. right? They're not. It's not a hologram. It's not VR. Like I think we assumed it was VR, but she seems to be able to interact with them.
But it could be AR to a certain extent.
Who the fuck knows? It doesn't bother trying to explain it, really.
It doesn't.
And yeah, it just turns out. So this is probably arguably the most fucking video game like, because it's literally like the Tokyo zone, the Russia zone with like Spetsnaz Russian mafiosos driving around shooting people up. The other fucking zone, it's just ridiculous. It actually pissed me off watching it. I really didn't like it. Didn't like what the fuck they were doing. Thought it was a garbo excuse to, hey, we've got some bad Russian accented, well, we've got stuntmen that can do bad Russian accents. We've got fucking Humvee somewhere. Let's just stick that shit in there. That Tokyo stuff. Tokyo was cool. We've probably got the set still built, or we've got the parts in storage. Let's build it up again and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Fucking shit, I hate it.
Yeah. Is that this might have been the one. What one did she lose her powers?
Oh, I think it was this one. Was it? Or was it Final Chapter, actually?
No, but there's one that she. I don't know. They all blend together. So
Well, she
this is
wakes up in a facility, right? If she wakes up in a facility.
Yeah. There's zombies.
Oh, Jesus. And this is the one that ends in the White House, then. It is.
Yeah, this is the one that ends in the White House.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And Wesker is not only alive again, but he's the president of the United States of America. Or the world, I guess.
Well, yeah, but I suppose it's like, but not really, because what world?
Yeah, I know, but well, he's in charge of the military based in the White House.
Which is just Umbrella.
Well, I don't know, actually.
I feel I feel
there's
it's
soldiers
more,
at the end that aren't wearing umbrella garb, though. It's not like it's made, because the umbrella garb is like black suited, like.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? It is like military soldiers that seem to be following his orders.
But yeah, he is the president of the remainder of society.
And him and Alice have like an uneasy alliance.
I think so.
Because there's
he walks. No, I think he goes, come to the White House, and she goes, okay, and walks in. He talks to her and then stabs her with something.
But is it there's the cliffhanger ending, I'm sure, where he's like, what the fuck happens at the end of this film? Look it up. What happens at the end of this film? I honestly can't remember.
This is the one where he gives her back her superpowers. So he stabs her and gives her back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Yes.
They might have been stolen at the start of this one.
Okay. On the roof, Wesker explains that the Red Queen is trying to wipe out humanity and all of the remaining unaffected humans in the base. It's humanity's last stand. And there's the US military, there's Umbrella Corps, and there's T-virus abominations swarming all over the world. Yes, this reminds me, and it's something we've not actually talked about, the Red Queen, which was in the first one as a shit child actress effect, CGI effect, who was like the AI controlling the lab. Yeah. The hive,
and
the lab.
The third one, I think.
No,
that's the White Queen.
Oh, so fucking... Yeah, so... also something to note is Paul W.S. Anderson fucking loves a 3D animated shot of like a complex, especially if it's underground, or... I mean, he does them in most of them. Oh my god,
it's unreal. Like,
he does them in most of them. Yeah. He'll take a nice zooming shot of a complex. He loves his movies set in a complex. Half of them are set in complexes, I was about to say, apart from this one, but no, the fucking huge domes fucking story, they're still underground for no reason.
Yeah.
I know. It's very foolish of me. So yes, this one ends. The Red Queen's the real enemy. We need to fight the Red Queen. Join me, Alice. I've given you your powers back. Together, we need to fight for humanity. Yes?
Yeah.
Great. Let's see what we thought about Resident Evil Retribution. Have we done this already? I don't think so. Let's go.
No, we haven't.
Resident Evil Retribution?
Resident Evil Retribution. What are your thoughts?
What the fuck's going on?
That was the biggest mess of all of them so far. Yeah, so like, I thought the action sequences were fine.
Fine and long, but the plot was
nonsensical.
The worst of any of them.
Yeah, by far.
And it may be the worst film of any of them, I think. Just in terms of a film, really don't know what that was.
Yeah.
And it's also setting up an awful plot for the last one because it's the AI again.
So my thing is, like, this is the one I remember least, right? So every movie so far has basically ignored the ending of the last one and just gone its own weird way.
The Apocalypse didn't. First one to second one was fine.
Yeah. And
Second
then
one to the third one was years later, desert, whatever. And then
Uh-huh.
after that, I mean, Wesker's alive again.
Ignored the end of the last ones if you think about it.
No, Wesker's alive
Yeah,
again!
but first one, Nemesis program, it was in the second one.
That's what he said.
Second
Yeah,
one,
that's the best one, though.
Second one, Apocalypse happened in the next one. Third one.
Yeah, well, maybe. Third to fourth, fourth to fifth. Fourth to fifth was the bad one because Wesker's alive again. Anyway, see you in another film.
Yeah.
Final chapter.
The Resident Evil, the final chapter, 2016.
What was the question?
See ya. Yep, that's about right. Oh well, we didn't like it, and also, Kid Pro. I think you can feel definite dip in patience.
I don't remember anything about this movie except for like brief flashes.
Retribution.
No, final chapter.
Resident Evil 6.
Oh, right. So, as I said there, these films have had problems with basic continuity in terms of
Yes. Oh
setting
yeah. I was hoping it was going to be made clear. There is one movie where it ignores its own continuity by the end of the movie.
Which one was that?
I can't remember. I think it's either Retribution or Afterlife.
It's the power stuff. I'm sure
yeah.
Oh, it's Retribution, I think. Is Retribution not the one where... Oh, it might be Afterlife. Where it's the helicopter crash is basically the thing. She crashes in a helicopter with Wesker. Fucking my final chapter. And, I mean, she would be dead, but she didn't have her powers then. I'm sure we thought, she's not got her powers then, so how did she survive that?
There's definitely a few in general, like continuity or like...
Basically, the stuff about taking her powers away need not have happened, and they also just retconned it at the end, just at the end of a movie.
Yeah,
but they did it, totally ignored it, then reversed it.
Yeah,
So Retribution ended. The AI was the real enemy, right? I'm just going to summarize Resident Evil, the final chapter. The T-virus, unleashed by the evil Umbrella Corporation, has spread to every corner of the globe, infesting the planet with zombies, demons, and monsters. Demons, weirdly. Alice, a former Umbrella employee turned rogue warrior, joins her friends. They're always her friends. Teams up with her friends on a last chance mission to storm the company's headquarters, located deep underneath what used to be Raccoon City. But the Red Queen...
Underneath?
But the Red Queen knows that Alice is coming, and the final battle will determine if the rest of mankind lives or dies. So, it mentions there's the Red Queen, but it doesn't mention the fact that the start of this movie, basically, the White House shit almost immediately. So there's a big battle. So the end of the last movie was, there's going to be a big battle. Start of this movie, the big battle's happened, and basically there's no like alliances again, and everyone's just kind of doing their own shit. Mm-hmm. Basically.
Yeah, I think at the end of the last one, Wesker tricks her into working together with him.
Yeah.
But like, by
I
10
don't know.
There's but it's literally she gets stabbed in the neck by him restoring the powers, and then he's like, "Peace out." Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
one,
kind
though.
of. No, the end of last one, he flies off and he's like, "Bye."
Oh, does he? I thought that it didn't end like that. I thought that it kind of set up that they were fine, and then in this one,
yeah, that's what I was meaning. So he gives her back her powers and is like, "I'm forcing you to work with me to destroy the Red Queen."
Yeah.
Cut to this one, 10 minutes in.
Yeah. Oh, right. I see.
He's her enemy again.
Yes, and the Red Queen is her ally.
Yeah,
Because it's the Red Queen that tells her what to do, basically.
yeah.
Red Queen sets up the whole fucking last movie.
Yeah.
Someone we've not mentioned is the doctor with the
Sir Jordan
child.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, not him. Yeah,
No.
yeah. Wait,
this is
no.
where it gets confusing because it might be the same
It might be
character as
Jared
Jared
Harris.
Harris, but we're not sure because if it is, it's recast or
And
sort
if
of
it's
retconned
not,
a bit.
it's retconned.
But basically, the T-virus, it turns out the T-virus was created by a well-meaning doctor trying to save his child who had an illness, and T-virus, which plays a big part in this movie. But this movie's kind of like I mean, they're calling it the final chapter, sort of implying that there's any kind of through line from first to last, which there's not really.
There is. Mila Jovovich is in one of them.
It feels more like, you know, in the MCU where there's like little callbacks to other movies?
Yeah.
Like a little character appears in this movie, but
I feel more like James Bond movies.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Where none of them have, like, old James Bond movies, where even ones that were sequels to each other didn't feel like most of them were just
They're
individual
self-contained
movies.
to an extent, yes.
But,
Yeah.
like, you could probably put a through line of different characters that overlap between, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, his flunkies and stuff that are around and things like that.
So
or maybe enemies, yeah.
But each movie, it's like a new slate. Doesn't matter. It's as if none of the movies ever happened, unless they just decide it did. Mm-hmm. It kind of feels like that, but way worse done.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of disappointing because I assumed in my naivete that there would be like, I mean, this was all by, we're kind of summarizing the whole thing already, and we've barely talked about Final Chapter, but these movies were all overseen by Paul W.S. Anderson, either directing it or writing it. He had his little grubby mitts on the whole thing. This is basically one guy's vision. This is one guy's vision, though, isn't it? 6
and
movies.
His wife's.
Yeah, basically one guy's vision, and he's managed to cobble together something where he's like it seems like he lost faith in what he was doing after every movie and went, oh no, we should do this instead. We kind of went one way, let's go the other way.
I mean, I feel it's more people give Adam Sandler a hard time for making movies with his friends. Like, he just kept making a movie series because
he could employ his wife and himself and make a shitload of money. It's his production company, probably, I think. I'm sure. I think it is. Film it in Europe on the cheap. Bang, bang. Yeah. I mean, this one cost 40 million, made 312 million.
So
massive success. Yeah, but I mean, I really thought that
you just don't
given the continuity of the people involved, there would be, however shit, a story beginning to end takes place over 6 movies. Do you know what I mean?
Kind of does.
It fucking does. It feels like 80 slasher movies where they were like, right, let's make a sequel. What's gonna happen in this one? Well, Jason's gonna have to come back to life because we killed him in the last one.
I mean, yeah, that happens, but in this one, it's always just clones.
Yes, it is clones, and clones play a big part in this movie as well. Thank you for getting us back on track. So this is the evil doctor driving in the truck movie. The tank truck APC thing. That's a lot weird. Of this movie. He's got clones. Some of them, they don't know about each other. He's like one of the big bads at the end, sort of. He's
kind of been the big bad the whole way through, along with Wesker.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been recast a couple of times if it's the same person.
Just he was Jason Isaacs in the first one, and then Ian Glenn had played Dr. Isaacs. Very confusing.
There's Dr. Isaacs and there's Dr. Marcus. Dr. Marcus has the child.
Dr. Marcus is the one that's just in this movie that is the Jared Harris retcon.
Oh, we should check right now. Is it the same named character?
I don't think, no. I think we checked at the time and it isn't. But we still weren't sure.
Not Dr. Charles Ashford.
Because they're so similar in plot. But we were like, but they're the same character. But they're not the same character because that guy's got that name and that guy's got that name and there's that like different. And we were like, no, but it's the same thing. And that's what was happening in 2. But it's not, but it is, but it's not, but it is. And either way you look at it, it's bad.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But yeah, Ian Glenn is the big bad doctor that has been through most of the movies. I think he's missing from the first one and maybe one other.
Yeah, Wesker and
Jorah
this one
Mormon.
And Wesker's kind of like his muscle kind of
weirdly, Wesker goes from being the most powerful being in the universe.
I mean, yes, literally, and in the Umbrella Corps, he seemed very high up. Kind of.
Yeah. At the end of the last one, these movies have basically been building Wesker up to be a superpower in his own right.
Well, I mean, he was shot in the face and blown up with a bomb. He came back both times.
And this one, he is basically just a henchman.
Yeah, he literally
That
stands in the corner of the
side,
room. Yeah.
And spoiler, the way he dies is someone drops something heavy on him. That's it. And we were like, oh, and then it's gonna. We were honestly like, oh, and then it's gonna be like, oh, but that was his clone, and it wasn't. It was just him. He just got crushed by a big rock and died, and that was Wesker. that was series rap on Wesker. He was the henchman that just got
Yeah.
we dropped a big rock on him.
Yeah. I bet if Paul had his way.
I think Paul had his way for 6 movies.
Well, yes. We also find out that Alice is a clone, which is not really much of a shocker.
No.
Every Alice is a clone. The Alice from the start's a clone. They're all clones.
They're all
clones all the way down.
They're all clones of Alicia, the 90-year-old woman with
actually,
progeria, apparently.
Is that right? Or oh God, was original Alice a clone of Alicia? Yeah. Oh yeah, she's got progeria, so she looks older, but I assume she's just the same age, and it's terrible makeup effects. But so are the other clones of Alice? Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure on that point.
Yeah, I think she's clone prime. She's clone prime, and or maybe it's just the DNA. Maybe she was just the best clone.
Yeah.
Do you know that weirdly, even though the Terminator is like one of the really early shit Terminators, it seems to be able to beat all these other Terminators that were made way later and better and smarter. And he's like, I've got the metal frame inside of me. You'll never beat me.
I'm just a big dude.
Oh, I think it's that. She's like the cool clones, so she gets a plot armor.
The whole movie, it's set up there's an antivirus. So she's going to the facility to release the antivirus that'll, nicely
antivirus the world.
Yeah, antivirus the world. But she thinks it's going to kill her, so she gets it, does it. Fade to black, I think, but then fade up again, and she's alive.
It's the end of Metal Gear Solid 4.
That's too deep a cut. We're not even going into that. If you get that, you get that. We're not explaining it. But so it turns out that it killed only the T virus in her, and she's alive again.
Yeah.
And the T virus. So and now the T virus, the anti-T virus is just going to
antivirus.
Thank you. Good stuff. Yeah, and that's final chapter. It's all going to be fine.
Pretty much. Also, as a parting gift, obviously, real Alice dies, as in old lady Alicia.
Yeah,
Alicia dies, and as a final gift, she uploads her memories into a computer.
God, because Clone Alice didn't have a memory.
Clone Alice doesn't have a childhood.
Doesn't have a childhood.
So Alicia puts her childhood into a disc and gives it to Alice and uploads it to her.
Great.
And she gets...
Not my memories, though. But fine.
But they are. Why not?
No, they're not.
They are now.
They're like identical twins. They're not the same person.
Close enough.
No, that's not... Anyway, fine. Oh, God. Let's see what we thought about this. Let's see.
So we just finished watching Resident Evil, the final chapter. And do you know what? You're going to hate me. It might be the best of the series.
Fuck off!
Don't worry, I hit him already.
Maybe not better than 1, but I actually think it was better than 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I think my favourite's 4.
What one was 4?
The first real ridiculous video gamey one.
The one that ended in the boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, one. Wait.
Yeah, the one that ended in the boat is my
Wait, was there a
one.
movie between that one and this one?
Yeah, the fake Moscow.
Oh, yeah,
and
the
stuff.
fake facility. Okay, I'm back on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I mean, definitely that one was probably like the second favourite.
Yeah.
But genuinely, in terms of it had a plot, it had action sequences. It was just as stupid and dumb as the rest of them, but at least it just seemed more coherent and more put together.
He's talking with his hands a lot.
I talk with my hands constantly. That's me.
And everyone else thought the first 6 movies were...
Oh,
Better than that one.
5 movies were better than that one then.
no, you thought that was the worst?
They're all short.
I think, so I think Mark's whole thing is that
10 hours of my life.
this was your fault.
I didn't realize they were this bad. I thought there was like.
I told you.
This was
the love
your
language?
It's
fault.
also his fault for also having the same idea.
Oh no,
Going
we
well.
would have done it anyway.
It's descended into anarchy now.
You being here and watching all of them is your fault.
The mood is low.
It's great. I genuinely, I think Mark's just like, first one, worst one. Second one, worst one. The moment after you've watched them all, he's like, they're all the worst one.
But we're all looking forward to the 7th one for some reason,
I have no idea why, like,
This will pull it back.
you're
Yeah.
all looking at this one as if it's like the hope at the end of the night. It's not
Yeah.
gonna
I
be.
feel it is.
It is. It's our saviour.
Oh my god. I'm so worried for yous.
Hurts.
But yeah, my opinion is that that one was the best of the last 5. I still think 1 is a better Resident Evil movie. But out of those 5 movies afterwards, I mean, the tone is completely different.
I think the one that aged the worst was the first 3D one, and I think the worst one was the one thing.
That one. That one was the worst one. Do you remember?
We're just gonna start the next one now.
Fake Tokyo.
Fake Tokyo, fake Moscow one was better than that one.
Even worse than 2.
What was it?
The one in the
Nemesis.
church, Nemesis.
Oh, no, I preferred that.
3, the one with no plot.
Yep.
Side quest number 3. Anyway, bye.
What was your thoughts?
Sucked. Interesting. Do you stand by your words?
I don't remember much about this one.
It's quite funny that even on the day you'd forgotten about Retribution. And I mean, we're having trouble remembering them
They
now.
blended in
But
at one
even
point.
on the day, it was like, I mean, I was the same.
Yeah, they
But it's
blended
like,
into one another at a certain point.
Oh,
I
God,
do
and the mood
remember-
was really low at that point.
I do remember it having at least like a through line of a plot, like, you know,
Final
action
Chapter
sequence.
did. I was
Yeah.
annoyed because it was its own movie again. And I
Yeah.
think it was even more egregiously its own movie again because I don't remember. It might be me misremembering it, but I thought that Retribution set up a plot that was instantly retconned, you know, with Final Chapter. And it's like, I don't know, calling it Final Chapter kind of implies there's something going on with the whole series when it's not. Do you know, they could have just... It's just, I don't know. It's just annoying.
I just found it as a better movie than a lot of the other movies we watched.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Probably not probably now that I'm here, probably not the best, but still, it's not like dropped to second last or anything like that.
I'm going to try and rank the 6 as I remember my initial impressions were. And I think they were, 4th one was the best, 1st one, 2nd one. Then it becomes a bit hazier, but I think I probably did 653 because 3's the worst. I know 3's the worst.
Where was one?
It's the second best.
Okay. Wow.
But more interestingly, Apocalypse is the 3rd best. It's in the top half. And it's not because it's great. It's because 3 and 5 I found so fucking annoying. 3 because the lack of plot is my worst one out of all of them. 5 because of the ridiculous, like, I didn't like the concept. I thought it was really dumb, but not dumb fun, dumb shit. So that's my second worst. 6 just gets in there, but it's still not as fun as the first 2 for bad watches, and 4 is the king on top of the mountain. If you had to rank them now, would 6 be your best?
No, mainly because I don't remember it that much.
At the time, you liked it.
Yeah, no, totally, and that's why I feel bad.
It just hasn't
like,
sat with you.
it's just not stuck with me, which is fair after it being the 6th movie.
Do you think first one's still your best movie? Go on, give us your ratings. Don't think about it. Just go with your heart.
My heart. I'd probably go. Okay, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3.
Yes! It's
Yeah,
so
easily.
funny that 2 is in the top. 2 is the top half for both of us, but it's one of the most maligned out of all of them critically.
Yeah.
I just find that funny. Would you? So we're going to treat Raccoon City separate, okay?
Yeah.
Would you recommend people
No.
watch the?
No. No.
I don't even mean in the way we did it, which was all of them in a day.
No.
You think
Nah.
just kind of scrub this from the history books?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it give anything meaningful to the art
helped
form that is
uh,
cinema?
The first one helped revive the zombie genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what these 6 movies did.
Well,
No, that's I'm saying that is the entire legacy of these 6 movies. is
right.
That first one
Yeah.
helped revive the zombie genre.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and kept Mila and Paul in
No.
the roof over their heads.
No,
Well, it did.
no. Well, he
Definitely
did, but I'm not arguing that point. I'm just saying, not why it.
Yes, I'd agree. I'd say watch. Just skip movies. I would genuinely watch 1, 2, and 4 if you're at all curious. You'll know by 2 if you're still curious. 4 is worth a watch, so I love 4. 3 and 5 and 6, I wouldn't really bother with them.
Yeah.
You don't need closure in the story. And in fact, the final chapter ends with her saying her work isn't done, basically, and implying there could be another fucking movie.
Which they were going to make before, I think.
Yeah, but it was not
this.
so that
No, they
is
were going to
leading-
reboot it. I think they were
Yes.
going to do one more and then a reboot. And then that got scrapped.
But the reboot was
And
still going to be Mila Jovovich, right?
Yes, it was. And instead we get Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh my god, wait, but first of all, there's one point I forgot, which is you're being directed by your husband Paul W.S. Anderson, and he decides maybe in the Twilight movies of the 6
You
to
found it
start
so...
digitally
That might not have been his choice.
vaselining your
That might not have
face,
been his choice.
digitally de-aging her face so she looks younger. I mean, how she was quite old by the time Final Chapter came out, right?
How
Was
dare
she?
you. She made Monster Hunter the other year. She's 46 right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What? Fuck, wait a second. I'm not sorry. Very clearly de-aged her. Very clearly vaselined her face with CGI, and it looked god awful. I honestly don't know why she didn't dump him after that, unless it was her
Maybe
choice.
she didn't do it.
What do you mean she did? Oh,
No, he didn't do it, sorry.
Oh, right. Well, fucking imagine. Imagine if you're
She
filming your wife
was-
in a studio, fucking
She was
vaselines her
40.
face. I mean, I'm sure. I don't. It wasn't the last one. I don't think. Was it
No.
not 5 or something, or maybe even was it maybe even Extinction? It seemed crazy early
Yeah.
on, but they definitely gave her the old sheen, and I just thought that was fucking weird. Yes, for the good of all mankind, Paul W.S. Anderson did not get his wish to recast his wife at the start of a new Resident Evil franchise, so we got Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Resident Evil.
Returning to the origins of the massively popular Resident Evil franchise, fan and filmmaker Johannes Roberts brings the games to life for a whole new generation of fans. Fan is said too many times there. In Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, once the booming home of pharmaceutical giant Umbrella Corporation, Raccoon City... This is a terribly written synopsis. I don't like it. Raccoon City is now a dying Midwestern town. The company's exodus left a city a wasteland with great evil brewing below the surface. Is it a city or is it a town? When that evil is unleashed, a group of survivors must work together to uncover the truth behind Umbrella and make it through the night. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. I'm going to say, first of all, 2 things. Number 1, we have no reactions because we left the flat we were watching these at an ungodly hour, and I was too fed up to record any.
Yeah.
Don't even remember. We had a taxi to catch. Number 2, this is better than any of the other.
Easily.
Just this is better than the other ones, right? This is why I didn't even bother ranking it. It's
Not
separate.
even close. Like
It's still not great. Still not.
No, it is for one, it is a perfectly watchable movie.
Yeah, watchable. Yeah.
No, there were times quite often that's 6 movies did not hit that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
That's
quite
what
right.
I'm meaning. Like, at no point did I feel I was like, considering this was our 7th movie, at no point was I like, for fuck's sake. Like, I didn't feel like it was dragging on or anything.
It mostly had an internal logic and
stuck to it.
arguably far too much happening.
Yeah, they can weirdly because
Yes.
they condensed the first 2 games into one movie. For some
Yeah.
reason, they split the action between a police station and a mansion.
Yep. Smash them together.
And it's because they want to have more than 2, 3, 4 characters. They want a bunch of characters running around and let's get this
I remember
moving.
us talking about that when we were watching it, and we were thinking, well, fair enough, because the games actually don't have a lot of people in them. So we understood it, but also didn't think it worked.
It didn't benefit it. Yeah, definitely not. But
cutting between these two stories. Also, oh, Jesus. So Leon Kennedy is an important character to me. He's not really a character, but in the sense that, Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. And I don't care if he's like a blank slate, non-entity character, but what he isn't is a whiny, useless sack of shit like he is in this film. For some reason, one of the stalwart heroes of the franchise, they decided to kind of make the joke of the character out of them all.
I don't know if it's necessarily that. It's like every other character in this basically is played so rigid to how they would be in the games, but with a bit of movie character thrown in.
Yeah.
Like, all of these people are like, yep, that is this person. Just pop them on.
Well, they do change... They change stuff around a bit.
They do, no, but more... But
yeah.
What I'm meaning is, like, with Leon, it was like, so we've got Chris.
Yeah, the hero, sort of.
The hero, basically, the hero guy.
Yeah.
And we've
can't
got
have...
Leon. So what else is Leon's a rookie? He's a rookie cop.
Yeah, I get.
He's a rookie. Okay, so what we'll
Bumbling
do is
rookie. Yeah,
we'll make him a wee bit more inept. You know, we'll really play into to really differentiate these two characters. We'll play into and I honestly think that's the way it went.
Yeah,
because
that
otherwise it's just Chris in a different building.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm like we said earlier, Chris and Leon are basically the same template because they're both just male heroes in the Resident Evil franchise. Really,
big meat sacks that fire guns.
Wesker was okay.
Wesker was all right. Yeah,
Wesker in this film, Wesker isn't the maniacally laughing grand oligarch of evil.
They do a decent job of, because the problem with that is Wesker in 1, which is what they're taking from that, isn't a character.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He isn't ever really there. It's only in the later ones that he gets the accent for one thing, and then all the smarm and all the
bullet time.
There's basically like 3 cutscenes with him that he expounds some, I'm part of your team, I might be shady, I'm going to betray you. Like, and they've developed that into a wee bit more, it's paper thin of like why, but like they've at least put a bit of character onto who this guy could be, and moving forward they can do something with it if they decide to make another one.
Does he not die?
Really?
Doesn't he die in this one? I can't remember.
No, he doesn't die in
does
this.
he become monstrous?
No.
Remind me. What happens to
he
him?
He gets the glasses at the end by Ada Wong.
Oh yeah, the mid-credit scene. Wakes up in a body bag. Oh Jesus,
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of undid all their good work.
No, they just Resident Evil'd it up a wee bit. And I think
I know, but I don't know.
What I would hope for this series, and this is again just like, I think this will end up, I think the next one's either going to be another mediocre, alright, it was fine, like Resident Evil movie, or hot garbage, or never be made.
It's hard because they can't. So the tone they struck in this one was, I don't know, it was a wee bit more serious and a bit more grounded in reality in general. And then they're hampered by the fact that they're following 6 films that went all over the place and did basically everything that they could. They were never grounded though, so they kind of grounded a wee bit more in reality and a wee bit more emotion. Let's get some... I mean, fucking hell, we know more about these characters after 1 film than we ever did after 6 films, because we actually see a bit more about... I mean, Alice in the last 6 films literally didn't have a childhood. It was literally like a blank slate clone, like all the rest.
Yep.
But we get to see more about like characters' childhoods and their experiences, a wee bit, and a wee
and their
bit
history
of
with Raccoon City.
Yeah, a wee bit, and a wee bit of their motivation. Yeah, and their relationships with each other. Like we barely had any of that shit.
I would also be all right if in the next one they turn up the ridiculous a wee bit.
I'm scared by that though, only because of the last 6.
Totally, but I like if you do that in a way that you're just doesn't have to like kind of similar in the way this one turned out of like you're not going to make any unbelievably amazing action movie, but what you pushed forward was a decent attempt, and if you at least go your own way with it.
I think they should generally dial up the scary.
Oh, that would be fun.
I genuinely think they should dial up the scary and maybe even the extremity of it, which is probably unlikely because of, rated R stuff. But
just go straight on to 7.
The games kind of had this thing. They were always a bit ridiculous. 4, which I know you've not played, I think was the turning point of absolute insanity. You have played 5, and I think that's kind of more of the same.
Yeah.
But then the games got grounded. And then after 6, culminated 6, which was just... 6 was like Resident Evil Afterlife, where they almost went too far with it. But it doesn't work in a video game. And then they grounded it again with 7 and made it more about scares and less about crazy action and shit. And I feel like they should try and do that, or maybe even adapt 7 in some way, because
that's what I'm saying. Go straight to 7.
Yeah, we've not seen that side of Resident Evil. The games have already been through this journey. They weirdly, so there were 6 movies. It was 6 mainline Resident Evil games to get to that journey, and then they said, right, this isn't working anymore. We need to simplify it and dial up the scares.
Magic number.
So that's why, I'm going to watch the next one, obviously, but I do worry that what is probably going to happen is, all right, let's adapt 3. Not 4. I don't know if 4 could ever work as a movie. It would be hilarious if they tried. Some of the characters are problematic for a start. Do 3 and then just make it kind of the same shit again is probably what's going to happen.
But yeah, again, we looked at the general consensus on these movies, and this one sits around the middle of the other 6.
See,
I don't know. Again, it's general consensus, but honestly, I would rank it much higher.
Yeah, I wonder if that's because who's reviewing the 5th Resident Evil film? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not going to be. I don't think Mark. Maybe I was about to say I don't think Mark Kermode went near him. I bet he fucking did actually. But I bet a lot of publications were like, I'm not going to bother fucking writing about that. So it kind of skews slightly higher with the people that have maybe a bit more patience for that kind of genre flick. Is what my little theory, because that was not our fucking experience with these films. I think 2 had the worst reviews because that was a sequel to a successful film. More people had to review it. Normal newspapers, the Daily Telegraph had to give it a wee review. They fucking hated it. Obviously, they're not into that kind of shit. It was not our experience with the whole franchise, was it? That is my working theory, my little conspiracy theory about that.
That's fair. You sit with your little tinfoil hat. But I would say skip the first 6 and just watch the new one.
Oh yeah, if you want to watch a Resident Evil film, watch.
Yeah,
don't fucking bother watching any of the other shit. It's not even a faithful Resident Evil adaptation, the other 6. Do you know what I mean? This is pretty faithful.
Mm-hmm. This probably does a better job than 1. Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, yeah. It stars the characters of the game, but it locations of the game.
Yeah.
They twist it a wee bit, but it's kind of like an interesting-ish commentary on a Detroit-style town that was centered around one one industry. Now it's in decline, and they say it's the setting. They do pay a bit of attention to that, which is fine.
There's enough nods to people who have played the games and enjoy that stuff, both deep and pretty shallow. It's everything you want out of a B tier video game movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably high up there in terms of that.
Easy. After those 6, I said Resident Evil 1 was probably one of the best. This jumps it easily.
Yeah.
So
trying to think comparable. Silent Hill movie or that movie?
Silent Hill's again has it's got. We'll probably go back and watch that at some point. Not the second one. That was just so terrible, so terrible. But that first one, like, I think
If you're
got
interested in the
certain
franchise, yeah, it's the same
I think the first one got certain aspects of the tone right, but nothing else really. And that's it.
Yeah. And this one gets aspects of the characters recognizable, kind of like little kind of stuff.
Does everything fine.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, does everything totally fine.
Introduces some new stuff that it didn't need to because...
But makes it a movie rather than a video game, which, for better or worse, to be honest.
we recently replayed 1 and we're replaying 2, and the story of 1 is shocking.
Yeah.
And it's low quality.
Yeah.
So to adapt that into a movie, fair enough. Can't really do it. 2, a bit more of a sort of almost, but that's the style of game it is. It's just kind of one, like, fetch quest back and forth with, you know, running away from a monster, thrown in, stuff like that. So fair enough. I can't really imagine how they could have done it much better, even though it's not perfect by any means. That's my hot take.
And that was 12 hours of our lives.
Don't ever do this. Literally.
Yeah.
Seriously, don't do this.
Watch that 7th one.
We're planning on doing other franchise days, obviously.
Yeah.
I think Scream was possibly
Scream's
hinted
next.
at. So I don't know, maybe look out for that in the future. Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, you could tell from our voices. Yeah. It's not for the faint-hearted. So that was Resident Evil 1 to 7, sort of. 1 to 6 and 1 again.
I'm never driving again.
What?
I didn't like it.
Sorry. I was just momentarily not in the fantasy at all. I apologize.
He's outside having a cigarette. What? Get back, and we're going.
We will return to our regularly scheduled programming at a lovely agreed
Next
time. Soon, very soon.
Yep.
Correct? Good. Okay.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.